Fair Work's actually, mentioned your, and I said, well, that's great. I didn't realise we had, like an organisation in Queensland like yourselves. Marie, she was the first one that answered the phone when we run. Marie was so compassionate. She validated, she listened. Having someone and a beautiful voice like Marie's to be first point of call makes a big difference.
Clients are always the center of everything we do, and especially here in Working Women Queensland. After each conversation, when the call is ended, you kind of think to yourself, I hope that I made a difference in her day.
I am really thankful to work in an organisation that has a strong feminist framework, because I truly believe that it works well for women when they have experienced like gender-based violence and harassment and discrimination at work. That support to better understand their experiences within that bigger picture. Really, women get that sense that it's not their fault.
We care about the women that we speak to, and we care about getting great outcomes for them that don't just last in one workplace, but it's forever. It's about making a difference for everybody and moving society forward.
Being new to Queensland, I was sitting there going, well, I don't think this is legal, but I don't know the laws and I don't know the system well enough. When I was speaking to Eloise, she's like, no, this is illegal and I do have an issue and I'm not overreacting. Eloise was amazing. She'd sit there and she'd listen to me and she'd talk to me. She was not only my lawyer, but she, was pretty much a counsellor as well, if that makes sense. I didn't really tell people in my other friends in different states what was happening because I was embarrassed. And then I came to Brisbane and didn't know anyone. Eloise, I kind of considered her my only Brisbane friend. She gave me hope.
Prior to moving over to Working Women Queensland at the start of this year, I was working primarily in roles where I was observing and hearing about a lot of hardships experienced by vulnerable people, vulnerable members of our community. It was hard not being able to act. That's what made me want to come to Working Women Queensland, where instead I get to be a part of actually making things different, which is really cool. The other staff all really seem to walk the walk. I see when they get off the call that, the fire's still burning. You can really see that the values that are driving them to do the work aren't surface level, they go deep.
There was no point in my interaction with Working Women that I felt at all that I had to prove my case. That was probably the biggest impact as a DV victim. It just shows a lot of empathy that they actually care. This is just not an organisation that say that they are for working women. They actually understand. The case officer that I had, she basically was a go-getter. She was quite a fighter. She was just fighting for the justice. That gave me hope and that gave me fight as well.
And the more and more I spoke to Eloise, the more and more I realised that I hate sucky workplaces that treat people badly, and that is actually definitely something I could do with my future. How do you ever thank someone who's helped you so much? I've never met her. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know anything about her except for my experience at Working Women. And I couldn't speak of anyone else in my life more highly.
You can get caught up in helping one client or helping somebody with a case, and when that's over, there's so much need that you can turn to the next person who's in need and forget about the impact that you had on that person's life. It is so powerful. It makes you feel that you're part of something bigger.
This is a beautiful, free service. Where would we have got this legal advice and guidance without, being tapping into a free service. You pretty much got to pay just to go in and have a conversation on where do we start.
It's an opportunity, it's a privilege. I will say it over and over again to anyone that I will encounter in my entire life, that I am so proud to be a part of this organization.
Starting at a very grassroots level, going through years where funding was really uncertain, and now being Working Women Queensland in its current form, absolutely thriving. I think we should celebrate the existence and the survival of working women's centres and really see what we can do to bolster support for them in the future, because it's so important.